Okay, so I got my second run in for this car. The back of the frame did go up, but I had to actually, that side there is just cut and notched right where it bent. This side here is cut and notched right there, and it's cut and notched inside here because it was starting to go down, so I had to cut quite a bit out of it and notch it pretty good to go up. Other than that, the back of the car is factory. I took this to Erin, Ontario, which was an extreme show. They made me cut out my back window bar, so that did not run for the whole derby, so that didn't have any influence on the back. The back end did come in, and it is up against my gas tank protector, so gas tank protector is a good helping hand for this car. Speaker deck ripped out both sides. This came the floor ripped. All the suspension is bent in on this side. And if you go to the passenger side, the strut tower actually ripped out of the top of the car, and the whole speaker deck is separated. Now this was not a rotted car. This was actually a very good condition car. When it ended up taking me out was, I think the transmission broke. I just went from drive to reverse, and it just didn't want to do it anymore. But I was having a hard time steering. In drive, the transmission felt like it didn't have the oomph that it should have. Tried switching down to first, still the same, but reverse still had lots of power. So I ended up using the back half for the derby. Front end has not moved. And believe it or not, this is not a loaded bumper. I was told I had to cut my loaded bumper off, so there it is over there against my tire stack. So this is just a 1988 front-wheel drive Cadillac bumper. It's just a mid-size bumper. It's just welded on. There's no sleeving in this frame at all. It has not moved. It actually took one of my 3/4 threaded rod welds right off. That one there is still attached, but it's all bent. Rad is pushed into the point where it's all torn apart. The intake has actually split off the car. The rad water was coming up and then being sucked into the intake, so it was kind of running like crap because of that. But honestly, other than the transmission in this car, I have no complaints about it. If the drive was doing better, I would have used the front more than I did, but the front is still a solid weapon on this car. I can't really argue about that. This bumper here just kept the two frame rails tied together. It's not seam welded, it's not loaded. This is actually like the 4th derby for this bumper, and I might just cut it off again because it's nice to have a spare stockpile. Like this one here, I was actually debating on cutting the one off the Intrepid over there around the corner to throw on here for this derby. But for a 91, 92 Nissan Maxima, I definitely do this again. I try to stay away from the 6 cylinders because, I don't know, I think the 4 cylinders for the Nissans are a little bit better. Apparently these ones have issues, so I didn't have any issues with the motor per se, but the transmission has issues with this one. But it takes the same bolt pattern as Crown Vics and Intrepids and Luminas, so that was nice for tires. But the whole car stayed together pretty nicely. And like this was a quick build for Millbrook, but it broke a drive shaft. But I'm just going to take out all my goodies. I'm going to take out my gas tank protector, my gas tank, my battery, fire extinguisher. Everything I can save off the car I will. And tires I'll save. I can fix that one because it just popped off the bead. And I'll save everything I can and scrap the rest. But I'm actually going to try to keep the front drive shafts. And I'm going to label them Maxima V6. And I'm going to put them in my shelf in the spare side. So that way I have parts if I ever get another one of these again. But like I said, it's a tough car. You just got to be careful with the transmission. Out of 2 derbies, I snapped the front drive shaft, but I was running doubles, pretty big doubles. And then this time the transmission just let go, and it sucked because I got first in my heat, and then I got second in the finals, and I was trying balls to the wall to win, and it wasn't a big show, but still beat 4 cars in the heat, and then went to the finals and took out another 6, and so there's only me and one other car left. But the car that took first was just a Saturn wagon that just putted around the whole time. Looks like he had no oil pressure. And I actually hit him so hard that it set off his airbag. An airbag made it through Xtreme's safety check. So, whatever.